We're here in Van on Bodark Street. It's Thursday, several days after a tornado, an EF3 dropped down into the city and did this massive amount of destruction. Spirits were bent, but spirits were not broken. It's affected a lot of lives. But again, the message is the hope for the future, the unity of a community, and how they will push forward through this as of any other disaster.
God has His hands on me and my family. God has provided for us to be able to get through this and rebuild. And God has showed me that there is a meaning for me in life and for my family, and has showed me that we're loved. This has made me realize that just because I did get off my path, I can still get back on my path, and God will be there holding my hand.
Well, we know a lot of the volunteers that have come into the city, not all, but a lot of them have been faith-based. Have you gotten that support from all of the volunteers? Have they?
Yes.
Have they wrapped their arms around you, told you it's going to be okay?
Gave me hugs, said that they can't understand what I'm going through, but they're there for me. They haven't been through it, so they can't say they understand, but they have been there for me and my family, and they have chipped in and helped us clean and helped us move, and they have actually been there and have prayed with us and let us know where we could go to get extra help if we need it.
When you planned your sermon out last Sunday, you said you plan your sermons out months in advance. Did it prepare you for what was to happen later that evening?
My text for Sunday is Psalm 20, which talks about calling upon the Lord and just in the day of trouble to call upon Him, that He will save you and rescue you and take care of you. And then it talks about that some trust in chariots and horses, but we trust in the Lord. And so again, even in the midst of a storm and what's taking place, we put our trust in Him and not in the homes and how well built they are, because we've had so many stories of people who really found maybe the one spot in their house that was safe. And so we don't put our trust in that, but we put our trust in the Lord. And really some miraculous stories that I'm going to share Sunday. We had two families that just completely lost their homes right across the street from each other. And in both cases, they got into a closet right in the middle of the house. And that's about all that was left standing. And so once they got out, they had picked really the spot of safety.
So you feel like maybe your faith is it telling you that God had kind of had that sermon planned, maybe?
Well, I think so. Since I had no idea what was happening, and I really pray about what I'm supposed to preach on, and so I do that and plan it all out. This time I planned it out for about 5 months, and so I pray through that, and I really seek the Lord on what He wants me to preach on. But like I said, as I prepared each sermon through this series in Psalms, really, I don't really know the direction that it's going until I begin working on it. And but this Sunday's really a perfect passage for what's taking place.
As a man of faith, kind of walk us through how you were affected, how this impacted you, and how you used your faith to stay strong for others.
Well, I knew that I would be needed, and so by the time I got here, it was already just really all the emergency first responders were here, and so I was began to try to check on our church members and try to make an account of how they were, and many of them I saw, and so my first response was to try to find out what I could about people and begin to get information and then to pray for them, and then that's been what I've done this week.
As you walk in, though, and you see this triage of people, injured people, bleeding people in your church, what's going through your head?
Well, really shock at first, because I had no idea that I would see that when I came into the church, and so, looking at the situation, the people that were here at that point, nothing I could see that was major injuries, at least what I could tell. And so it looked like everybody was, there wasn't any really severe injuries at that time that was here. So all I knew was it was just people being treated and then sent on to the hospital. But it was really just a shock. I knew the church had been opened, but I was expecting a small group of people that had maybe come in from the storm. No, I didn't know it was going to be
You couldn't have even imagined the damage would be as great as
Oh, no. And I had no idea that we would become really the hub of everything there for the next few days. But that's because we were available and they needed some place to bring people, and we were here and able to open up.
How do you, as a pastor, bring your flock along through that? How do you keep everybody's spirits high and their faith high? How do you do that?
Well, you direct them to the Word of God, which has all the promises of God. I think in the time of when you're in crisis and maybe there's questions about why did this happen, those are really questions that you can't answer maybe right away. I do believe that all things work together for good. I really believe that promise of the Word of God, and even though it doesn't look like that at times. And I've had my own situations where you look at it and you say, well, I don't know how this could be classified as good or what good could come of this. But that's where you cling to His promises and you trust Him. And so I don't know what the days ahead hold. I'm very thankful and blessed that we don't have people who were seriously injured. I'm really thankful that we don't have anyone in this church that has been killed, and that was definitely possible looking at the damage. And very thankful. I'm very saddened by the two fatalities that we do have in town, but when you look at all the damage, it is really an amazing thing. I believe it's a miracle that we don't have more people that have been killed. And so you look at the promises and you point to the fact that you can't see God's hand at work. And God is a God who keeps His promises, and He's going to be there. He's going to guide them through it. He's going to give them the care and the support that they need. And then we'll try to meet whatever needs that we can as far as financial and other physical needs, and making sure people get the information they need. Make sure that we can help them rebuild and take care of them as best we can. And this community's come together so much, and there are people that are wanting to help other people and donate things and do things. And so there's some things like that the community's doing is
coming together.
It's just great to see.
The community and the unity in that community.
And really, something like this really tests a community, and what I've seen so far, it's really risen to the challenge. It's been great.